We are at Kings Canyon National Park now. It's actually attached to Sequoia National Park. And normally we take a nice picture in front of the big sign, the National Park sign. Well, it's winter and it's still covered in snow. And apparently the only big sign they have on the side of the road is in the section of the park that is still closed and you can't get to. So the girl at the visitor center said, this right here is the next best thing they've got, is the post office sign that says we're in Kings Canyon. So that's all we got for you.
Something to think about though, because as lovely as the snow is and seeing it in a different perspective, things are closed that would normally be open. They do. It's April 4th today, and they did have a late winter.
April 4th, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. But they did have a late winter. They got hit with a good snowstorm. Actually, and I remember in Arizona, we had a week of cooling down too. So everybody kind of got this late winter storm. But it's okay. We're still going to make the best of it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we love seeing all the trees and everything in the snow.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, looking on the map, it looks like 3/4 of the park is still closed.
Yeah. A lot of the hiking trails as well.
Yes.
But it just means, I mean, listen, California is closed. It just means we can come back another time of year.
Yep. So we are walking through a hollowed out trunk of a sequoia that has fallen.
Pretty cool. I mean, look at the size. This is just a piece.
Well, look at where you're standing.
I know. It's crazy. This is if you have to take shelter.
Yeah. If you were on Naked and Afraid, this would be great shelter. Lareka always used to talk about Naked and Afraid.
You do?
She used to always say, if I was on Naked and Afraid, I'd do this. When in reality, she would never be on Naked and Afraid.
Ever.
Whoever thought it'd be a good idea to put concrete steps in a place that gets all the snow and ice.
But I think most of the time, it's not super open with the snow.
This is just very cool.
Yeah, I like that they did that.
So we are in the Grants Grove Village where the General Grant tree is located, and the General Grant tree trail. It's about half a mile loop and just so many beautiful sequoias. Yeah.
It's a much easier loop than the General Sherman's, but each has their own thing to offer. So I'm so sad that you're not going to be able to tell how amazing these trees are on camera.
Yes.
But anyway, just magnificent, beautiful. Learning about them has been amazing.
Yes.
And just their strength. And I don't know, it's incredible.
Yeah.
So
I think the biggest thing, I think a lot of people know that, these sequoia trees need to burn to continue to grow. And almost all of them have burn marks on them. And there's signs everywhere that says they need fire to naturally grow and get bigger. And, you know, you hear about forest fires all the time, but these trees need it to keep growing.
Yeah. It's kind of like, when you think about it, it's kind of like humans.
Yeah.
We need to go through those hard times to get through, find hope and reset and be able to do life. It's just, I don't know. They're amazing, amazing trees. So we've loved every minute of looking at them. And like I said, the video and the pictures will not do it justice, but you need to come. Yes. And there's something truly magical about doing it in the winter with the snow, even though it is spring. They're just beautiful with all of nature going on, really. So I'm sure they're beautiful, though, when the snow's not on the ground as well. So we will come back and do that for sure. Yeah,
because a lot of these trails that are branching off from all these parking areas, most of them are closed. And even if they're open, you really don't want to be traipsing through, you know, leg deep snow and everything else.
In the snow too, especially because we're not prepared for that. If you get wet and all of that.
And we're getting old.
But it's been an amazing adventure.
Absolutely.
Just seeing it under this white blanket of snow. Gosh, it's beautiful. So
All right, now we're going to go see where else we can get to here in Kings Canyon. Like I said, about 90% of the park is closed because of weather, but we're going to go see where we can find. And if nothing else, we're going to head down the Sherman Parkway and go back into Sequoia. And
beautiful scenic route.
Yeah,
there.
that's a very scenic route.
But I mean, that's the thing about Kings Canyon. It's so far up north into the mountains that, yeah, you definitely want to do it later to experience that because most of it is closed. So,
all right, let's go see what we can find. So this is Big Fern Springs, and it's literally just a pull off the side of the road, the side of General's Highway on our way back down to town, and it's just incredible.
Yeah, the Sequoias, you just don't know what you're going to get. I'm telling you. You start in beautiful green high desert, and then you go up into all of these amazing Sequoias, but it's like, it's just, your senses get overload because you can't believe what you're seeing. Because now there's no snow, it's sunny, we're on our way down from it.
Right.
But it's just magical, the whole thing, because there's so many different things you can see and smell and I don't know, feel, because like it was cold up there.
Yeah, and now we're good.
So,
but yeah, if you come through here, pull over on these overlooks and really check it out. We've seen waterfalls. We've seen another waterfall here, and this actually has a little place to walk and look. We were just walking on the other side of the road, and there's moss on the rocks.
Yeah.
I mean, and you can just smell it. It all smells like cut grass, and just an incredible, incredible place. It's almost like we're seeing all the seasons at once.
Yeah, it's very cool. I don't know. You just got to take your time and explore, because you never know what you're going to see out there.
Yep. All right. Since today is Lareka's birthday, we spent the whole day up at Kings Canyon National Park, Sequoia National Park.
Yep.
She warned me before we left the house. She goes, I'm not making dinner. I want pizza tonight.
Yeah. Well, they had said that the pizza place here in town is really good. So we went and we decided to have an early dinner. So after, got a pizza, got some mozzarella sticks, we got beer. I'm so excited. They had mango cart, which I should have thought about because it's California.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm in California because of the Sequoias, but we're in California. So mango cart is very popular West Coast, really popular in Vegas.
Good.
So I'm excited to have it on draft and get a mango cart for my birthday.
There we go. All right, time to eat. It's Kevin from Retired Road Tripping here, and I want to talk to you about a new sponsor to the channel, Blu Technologies. Some of you guys have heard of Blu Technologies. They are a water purification system for travelers, RVers, and we are so excited, and we're gonna show you a new product of theirs that we just got that we're gonna be testing out and trying. So we have here the AR3 Adventure Series 3-stage water filtration system, and we're gonna take everything out of the box and show you everything it comes with, and then we're gonna go over and hook it up finally. Here is the actual filtration system. The entire casing is complete aluminum. Comes with a bag to keep the whole system in. And from what I was reading, the filter is actually designed to go in the bag while it's working to kind of protect it, which is a good thing. So this is the tool to actually remove the filters from the canisters. I'll show you how all that works here in a little bit. And obviously your warranty card and all your instructions and things like that. It's got the quick connect valves to put on our existing hoses. That makes installing this a lot quicker. All right, so what we're so excited about with this new filter system is it's a 3-stage filter, unlike the single inline filters that pretty much all of us use. So the water comes in here, goes through the longevity filter, which filters out all the big stuff, which is pretty much gonna be like the filter that you've already got, and that's about it. Then you go to the second filter, which Blu Technologies calls a 0.2 micron filter, which for comparison, the inline filters that we all use are a 20 micron filter. So this is filtering out
so much more of the gunk and minerals and particles and everything else. Then it goes into the third filter, which Blu Technologies is calling the tasty filter, which actually makes your water taste great and everything else and cleans it all up and makes it ready for drinking right out of the tap. So the 3 stages, each one of these filters is replaceable. On this model, it says every 3 to 4 months. So we're also going to test that. We're going to see how long it takes before we realize we need a change in filters. So let's go hook it up. All right, so I've already removed the inline filter from the water source and hooked the hose up directly. And I've taken the quick releases and already put them on the ends of the hoses. It's pretty simple. Didn't want to waste your time. Now, one thing we did have to do is we had to go out and buy a short hose that will go from the filter into the bay. We have our normal 50-foot Evo hose that we use because my intention is to keep the filter directly underneath here in the shade, out of weather and everything else. We just went to the local hardware store, bought a little 10-foot hose that will run up into there and connect it, and we'll be good to go. So before we do any of that, first thing we have to do is connect the water source into the longevity side, turn it on, and let it run, they said, for about 3 minutes. So quick connect. Make sure we aim that way and just keep an eye on that. And you should see a bunch of black gunk coming out of all the, it's when all the filters are new. You guys all know what it's like when you have a brand new water filter. And they said to let this run for about 3 minutes. So I'm not going to bore you for 3 minutes, and we'll be right back after it's done. All right, so we decided that we're going to actually keep it in the bag since that's what it's designed for. So got the water connection from the source through the 3 filters into my new short hose that just goes up into my bay. Obviously, there's really nowhere that I could mount this. I know some other people, and I've seen some other videos out there where people have been able to mount their filtration system in their water bay because theirs is a combined. Our water bay is not. All right, so we're gonna keep ours in the included duffel bag, try to keep it safe from weather and things like that. So I'm just gonna finagle all the hoses around a little bit, get the water turned back on, and then let's go inside.
It's taste test time. Kevin did everything outside, got all of that down. This is what we normally do for drinking water in our rig. We had bought a Brita from the day that we started. It has not been bad, but what most people say with the Brita is you're just constantly filling it, and that's what we were doing. So I'm super excited to just be able to fill from the tap. So in my cup here, my travel cup, is my Brita water. So I'm going to use that for taste testing. We're just going to go right out of the sink here. Our new water. We'll do the Brita first. Lovely. I don't taste anything, which is a great sign. You don't want aftertastes and weird tastes. No smells. There's no, I think it's great. I'm super excited about this. Like, we can just fill and go and not have to continually worry, especially as it gets warmer. We drink a lot more water, obviously. So yay, no more Brita, right out of the tap. I'm excited. Okay, so we just want to thank Blu Technology for sponsoring this video and providing us with the filtration system. We do have a discount code. It is Retired Road Tripping for 7% off. We will leave a link in the description down below. And as always, we will let you know how it's going with our water, with anything that we do. So stay tuned. Thanks.
Okay, so today we have a down day where we're just trying to get a few things done around the rig. And this is a project. When we were back in Arizona, we had ordered our photos for the wall. And we're not going to replace all of them. We have a lot of frames. We have some super favorite photos, but we went through and I think we ordered about 10, 11 photos just to replace a couple of the older photos. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to go ahead and take them off the wall, pop open the frame, we'll put a new photo in. Like I said, we're not going to change all of them, but we're going to change about 10, 11 of them and just freshen it up from last year's loop. And we'll just probably do this every time we return to Arizona for the winter. Go ahead and order some new photos and freshen up and go from there. So our adventures will always be on the wall. That's why we ordered these frames. We actually really love them. We were going to do mixed tiles originally, something like that. But your photos just, you want to switch them out, right? You want more current. So we love the idea of being able to pop off the back and put new photos in. They're super lightweight. We get asked all the time where we got them. They're on Amazon. We will put a link on there. They have white, they have black, super light. We just stick them up on the wall with command strips. They've all come off when Kevin pulls them down, and then we stick them back up. So it seems to be working out.
All right, so Lareka says this is one that we're going to replace. It's an old picture of us at the Badlands. I mean, it's a beautiful picture, but
it's very windy and hot that day.
Yeah,
it's not the greatest.
Hair was all, ooh, so.
Yeah.
The nice thing, the way I put these up is just a command strip on top and a command strip on the bottom. They just come right off. Just
show them though. Look,
no damage to the walls.
Yeah,
and these have been up here for probably close to a year and a half.
Yeah.
So no damage, and the command strips still stick. So we're gonna switch out the picture real quick and get the frame back on the wall, and hopefully we don't have to replace all the command strips. All right, so the backs of these are flush, and I remember when we put them together, they just have little tabs that stick in. So all I do is get my little pocket knife, nice and gentle, and you just pry it open, each one, and you pop it out of its tab.
So let me ask you a question. If one doesn't have a pocket knife, could they maybe use a butter knife?
Yes.
Kevin loves to use his pocket knife for everything.
Well, I've been carrying this pocket knife around with me every day of my life for 20 plus years. Before this one, I had a different one.
It's your best friend.
Before this knife, I had a different one. I mean...
But those of you who don't have a pocket knife that you carry around with you, you could use a butter knife. And actually, a butter knife might be even safer. You have some stories with your pocket knife there.
Yes. If you want to hear about Kevin's pocket knife stories, we need to meet in person, and there needs to be a few adult beverages in play. And then
that's part of the problem.
And then I will tell you the pocket knife stories.
Anyway, there you go. We got our picture.
Our newest picture. This one is from Monument Valley last September.
Forrest Gump
Point, yeah.
Yeah.
And so because the command strips are still good, and the way we had this wall designed, all I have to do is match up the corners, give it a little press. Done.
Now, that is something we're going to monitor, because we haven't really taken them off and switched them to see if that old command strip will stay up. Mm-hmm. But as we move, we will test that and see if we just would need to apply a new one. So we will see. But they are so light that unless it's super not sticky, I think they're going to be okay.
Yep.
All right, let's get this done.
So we've got about 9 or 10 more to do, and we'll show you the finished product when we're done.
Okay, so we finished the project. It was primarily Kevin. I'm not going to lie, the frames are a little tricky to work with. It's actually our first time replacing photos, so I think it'll get easier as we go. But the popping out and then placing the photos back in, the new photos, little tricky. They're just not all cut sometimes exactly to that degree. That's what we're finding. So no biggie. You can just trim them down if you need to. Anyway, I'm excited. They're done. It's not going to be a huge change because we kept up a ton of pictures. We just wanted to replace a few, and that's what we'll do. And the next time we'll replace the older ones. So yeah, I'm happy with it.